What is going on, everybody? The Real Sharif M here, aka Mangana Steel, with the first video of the new year. Happy New Year's to all of you guys. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, whatever you celebrate. For me, it was Christmas. It was very chill. I know the weather has been really crazy in some places, so I hope you guys are staying safe. In today's video, I am going to cover actually a lot. Today is a bit of a big video. One, I've got some updates on the first Mangana Steel prototype, and then I've got an unboxing to do. I acquired something very new, very special to me, and on top of that, I want that to kind of spur a discussion about the value of knives and how much money we spend on these tools, and to really shed some light onto where your money goes in this industry. And so please stick around for that. This video is going to be a little bit longer. You can jump ahead if you like, but I really hope to spur some discussion and to kind of challenge people's, accepted norms in this space. First, let's get into the updates. I don't know if you guys have followed the news, but China had an outbreak of COVID, so the prototypes have been delayed. I was hoping to get them right around now or like next week, but they will not be shipping until I believe like February 13th, so I won't be able to show them. If you guys join the Facebook group, you will get first exclusive views and opportunity to give feedback on them. So make sure you join the Facebook group. The link is down below in the description. Now that I'm kind of back full time, I will be contributing more to the Facebook group. I know it's been kind of dead lately, but that's just because of the holidays. Anyways, so get ready for February. The prototypes will be coming. It's just going to take an extra month longer. Now, let's switch over to the top-down view, and let's do this unboxing. Let me show you what I got. All right, you guys, so you can see I kind of already have a little bit of a setup here going on, and this is going to be part of the second or maybe the third part of the video where I begin a discussion about these things. But, so truth be told, I already have kind of unboxed this thing, and I just couldn't resist. This is what I picked up recently. If you guys know, this is Custom Knives Factory. They are, or Custom Knife Factory, not Knives Factory. They are purveyors and manufacturers of some really, really beautiful knives. Now, I'm not showing this to flex on anybody. I'm not trying to impress anybody with this thing. I actually purchased this as largely a learning experience to understand what higher-end manufacturers are doing that separates them versus the stuff that we all know and love. And let me just say, I have already learned a lot, and I hope to integrate some of the things that I've seen in this into my future designs and to kind of level up my way of thinking as a designer in this space. We get this beautiful pouch, super duper padded, which I actually really, really like. Inside, there is a bunch of spare bearings, washers, pivots, all of the screws, everything, which I thought was really cool. But it's really nice that they included this without even like asking for it. Inside, you get a card for those of you who know about the Sukhoi series. This is number 374. This was sold by NC Blades. I could have swore I had their sticker here a second ago. Oh, yep, there goes my phone. But they were, I believe, the exclusive U.S. sales outlet for these guys in the United States, there was only, I believe, 200 that came to the USA. So I feel very privileged and excited that I was able to get my hands on one of these. And as you can see, these are the different steel options that it came in, and all of this good stuff. Very nice, nice plastic card versus paper, and it has the CKF logo just kind of ghosted on the back, which I really dig. I think that's very cool. Oh, here are the stickers. I knew I had them. Yeah. So, shout out to NC Blade. There you go. Very, very awesome. Very happy. I've done business with them before. Very, very, like, great guys to deal with. And little thank you card from CKF with a little joke on there. Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. So, let's open this guy up. Now, inside, the knife is wrapped and comes wrapped in this microfiber little hank. I don't know if you want to call it a hank or a little towel or whatever, but it's still a nice touch. And here it is. This is the Sukhoi 4. Now, come on, camera. Focus. There we go. Look at this thing. Absolutely stunning. These are carbon fiber inlays, which are micro milled. You have this dark washed and stone washed titanium through here. Zircotai pivot collar. Beautiful milling work. Beautiful CNC work here. The back is a continuation of the same. Zircotai pivot, carbon fiber inlays, even down into the lock bar. Zircotai pocket clip. Blade is over 4 inches of M398. Came screaming sharp out of the factory. Has this nice subtle, I guess you could call it like a bead blast or stone washy. No, it's definitely not stone washed, but reminds me of the finish that come on KUBEYs, actually. If you look at my KUBEY VELOCE, it's fairly similar. The tone and texture of it. It's a touch darker on the VELOCE. But again, nice satin flats here. No labeling, no billboarding here. And then on the opposite side, still no billboarding. Just an M398 here and the number of the run. So absolutely stunning. For my extra large to double extra large hands, the ergos are perfect. My 2 fingers fall into this curve here, and it feels incredibly comfortable. I can feel the pocket clip, but it does not generate a hot spot. And the multi-row bearings make this thing hydraulic. Absolutely hydraulic. Honestly, this is probably one of the most beautiful knives I've ever seen. Definitely the best knife I've ever personally handled. I have never handled any customs or anything like that. This literally represents the most expensive knife in my entire collection. And the machining and finishing on this thing is second to none, honestly. I don't know if this will show up with the focusing, but you can see it's a nice full-length back spacer. Has a little bit of extra machining right around here just to give kind of like a U-notch. There's a relief right around the flipper tab. So it just gives you a nice, very comfortable landing spot. There is no sharp edges to this thing whatsoever. But this is knife making on a whole different level. The only logo that you do see on it is this very, very tasteful CKF milled into the tail of the knife. And it's such a subtle detail that you can very easily kind of overlook it and not even pay it any attention. I really hope you guys can see the micro milling on the carbon fiber because it's so nice. It gives a subtle texture, and I don't know, it's just really impressive. The thing that really gets me the most about this knife is essentially it's like 3 layers of materials. You have the base layer, which provides the sort of outline and the base of the construction of this knife. Then you have some areas that have been milled away from that, where the carbon fiber inlays, like down here, and then this section, this like piece of titanium here, is all one piece. All of this. And then that's milled out, and then titanium is inlaid on top of that. And then you have the zircotite pivot and everything. And it's all done with just these 2 screws. Just these 2 screws. Even you look on the other side. Same, just 2 screws and a screw for the pocket clip. And it's just immaculate construction. I mean, is it any question whether or not this thing came centered? I mean, really, like, it's unbelievable. And you can reverse flick it, you can Spidey flick it due to this nice cutout. But, you know, talking about just the construction of this thing, it is immaculate. And it's really ingenious in terms of planning and designing and manufacturing. Now, this is where I want to get into a very candid discussion about value and collection and what do we spend our money on within this industry. And I honestly have to say that this knife was and is a bit of a revelation for me. So, as a reference, again, please do not take this as a flex. I am not the kind of person who regularly spends this kind of money on items like this. But this was $655. Some of you may be freaking out right now. Others of you may be saying it's not that bad. But bear with me, okay? This amount of CNC work and this amount of finishing and materials for $655, I feel represents a monumental value within the industry. I mean, genuinely monumental value within the industry. And let me explain why I think that, right? You have my knife here, the Grazioso, manufactured by KIZER knives. You have, a 20CV or M390 here. You have a blackwash titanium Zer blasted blade or bead blasted blade. You have forged carbon fiber, and it's a bolster lock, milled 3D pocket clip, and this thing comes in just under $200. Okay. Now you have the same thing, essentially, just a bit larger, coming in at about $375. You have 3.75 inches of M390. Now it's a bit thicker, right? But it's still a bolster lock. It's still a flipper. It has micarta instead of carbon fiber, which I can tell you is the micarta is less expensive in terms of manufacturing, right? Same thing, titanium pocket clip, 3D milled pocket clip here. This thing was $375, damn near $400, okay? And so let's round up just for the sake of argument. And basically for $255 more, you get this level of craftsmanship. right? So basically, if you don't buy this and you don't buy, let's say, a PM2 or something like that, right? And you save that money, you can have this, which is insane. Insane. I know tons of people who do not consider this a user. This is a collection knife, and this was very much like the knife du jour when it came out, right? And for a lot of people, it's still the knife du jour. But really, I don't see a massive value difference between these two. I really don't. And I can tell you that, like, from going down the pathway, going down the rabbit hole of trying to manufacture my own knives, this does represent a phenomenal deal. Now, let's look at it from another perspective of machine time, right? Here's an excellent example. And these guys, admittedly, are completely nuts. I don't understand how they make money in this industry. But this is a Tucson. I got this Tucson for around $106, something like that. Now, it doesn't have M390. This is 14C28N, right? But it is very nicely finished. It is a fairly big chunk of metal, right? But these are full titanium scales that had to be milled. All of this away. That takes a lot of machine time to do. And then they inlaid the carbon fiber, and the carbon fiber is also milled. You can see that right here. And there's even some on top here, which may not be coming through due to the lighting as well. But this is also a 3D milled piece of carbon fiber, right? 3D milled pocket clip, right? Nice full length back spacer. This is $105, $106. And I don't know if this is going to, again, come through in the camera, but all of this is also micro milled. The entire length of the way, my dudes. This represents an amazing value in the industry. This is nuts. To be able to get this level of, whether you like the design or not, I'm just saying, Tucsons are nuts, like in terms of price versus machining and quality and all of this stuff. And truth be told, I really cannot discern a difference in the level of quality, tolerances, and otherwise between these guys right here, right? But somehow this one is $106. This one is $180-ish, and this one is $375 brand new. I don't know, my guys. I don't know. And really, this is where I wanted to bring the discussion in, because this is M398. This isn't even M390. This is M398. This is a much higher grade of steel. You have 4 inches of it at what? Let's get out the calipers. Oh, you jerk, you calipers. You were working just a few minutes ago. Why all of a sudden are you not turning on? I do not want to use my metal ones as much as possible with this thing. Isn't that always the case? Just when you want these little guys to work, they choose not to. Let's bring out the metal ones, and I'll just be really dainty, okay? So, this is, let's call it 15 thousandths. Yeah, it's like 14.85, right? Which translates essentially to 3.5 millimeters thick of M398. Right? Micro milled carbon fiber inlaid on top of stonewashed and darkened stonewashed titanium with zircotite collars and a zircotite pocket clip. This is nuts. I mean, really, like, the price on this, in my estimation, assuming this is reflective of the cost and they're not price gouging people, and this is reflective of the cost and they're not price gouging people, and this is, I don't know if this is reflective of the cost, but this is very, very cheap, or this feels like it's damn near at cost, I'm not gonna lie, right? This thing should be, in theory, like $1,000 knife, but it's not. It's $655. Like, if this is going to be considered a collection knife, this doesn't make sense to me at all. Actually, does not make sense to me. So, I guess for me, it made me really look at where I spend my money in this industry, and a lot of this stuff now looks really simplistic to me. For me, I think this is the sweet spot, like $200 and under. I really do. But the knives that are showing up in our industry a lot of times, and I'm not going to say this is a blanket statement, there are some designers who are doing some really, really beautiful things, and they have a lot of detail, and of course, everybody deserves to make some money. Everybody does, right? You are bringing something unique to the market, you are taking on a certain amount of risk, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I get it, you know. Doing stuff on an individual basis versus having the might of a factory, you should charge more. I'm not belittling that side of things, but I do think there's a difference between, you know, kind of a fair price and a bit of like an overcharge, and this is shining that light on for me, you know, personally. The sophistication that comes with this is just immense, is absolutely immense. And the level of detail in manufacturing, like, I know going forward, I am actually going to sell a lot of the knives that I've collected, because I want more of this in my life. So, let me know down in the comments if what I'm saying kind of makes sense. I don't know how better to kind of explain my position, and I really have to thank CPM on Instagram for kind of like opening up my eyes to this. You know, it's really, I guess you could say, like, it's really interesting, but also somewhat frustrating. And, you know, for all of us who enjoy this knife hobby, I guess I just want to bring something to your attention that really kind of surprised me. I mean, the amount of, like, work, craftsmanship, effort, value that is presented in that CKF is shocking to me. Is truly, truly shocking. And maybe that's your only takeaway, is that, you know, CKF really brings something amazing to the table. But for me, it caused me to pause and reflect on the rest of the industry and some of the prices that are being charged out there. And it really made me think to myself, like, why am I paying X amount of dollars when I'm not seeing that reflected in the precision, the manufacturing, the materials, and the details? So let me know down in the comments what you thought. I maybe this is a controversial take. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I definitely know that I'm going to be thinning out the herd quite a bit, actually. So keep an eye on that in the future. I'm definitely going to be putting up a bunch of knives for sale because, as I said, for me as a designer, and maybe my perspective is different as a designer, if you could tell me for the price of 2 BMWs, I could get a super rarefied Ferrari, I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna do that. all day. And I'm not talking about like, the top end, highest end BMW. I'm talking about BMW 1 Series, 2 Series, you know what I mean? Or for the price of a couple of Hondas, I could be getting into something that is so much more compelling. I don't know. It really made me think and really made me pause and consider or reconsider, what am I doing with my collection? What am I doing with even myself as a designer, what I'm bringing to the market? And I think that there's a really big opportunity for me going forward in delivering compelling designs to you guys at a very affordable price point, relative to the manufacturing, relative to the tolerances and the details, and the materials. So, again, drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys, and I hope you guys are having a safe and great 2023, man. This has already been an eye-opening year, and it's just barely started.